Radio, National Public Television. There was a hearing yesterday. The CEO was testifying, and a lot of the members of Congress were not impressed. They were not impressed, and they think they should be defunded. Well, we've told you now for how long on this broadcast? They get $500 million a year. $500 million. I said last night on television to my guys in the control room, I was on the air, I said, guys, what would we do? How would we spend $500 million? How would we spend $500 million a year? And one of the guys answered correctly. I think that would be impossible. Yeah. How do you spend $500 million a year on programming? Now, I'm not saying you can't do it, but if you were doing efficient, you're being frugal, you're being conservative in your spending, your budgets, you're being responsible. How do you spend $500 million a year? And then you add all the other money they get from the public. Are they just squirreling it away into a bank account? Apparently they own a bunch of buildings, so that I guess could be one way. $500 million a year. Now, how many of these groups that we now have found out get government money, which we knew about NPR, corporate broadcasting for a long time. But then we find out Reuters, according to numerous reports, the AP, how many of these groups would go belly up if they weren't being funded by the government? You see, World YouTube, VCY America, many of us out here in the Christian worldview arena, we actually have to do something, and it's called be needed. Have people want to support us. We don't get government money. We have to present a format and content and news and information that people want to listen to, they want to watch, they want to read, and thus they want to support. How long do you think National Public Radio, National Public Television would last if they had to get rid of all their government funding? I think we're about to find out. Did you know there are a lot of conservative broadcast networks out there that are in the red? A lot. There are a lot of conservative broadcast networks out there that are in the red, that are literally on life support. And then you have these liberal groups, leftist groups, cultural Marxist, globalist, propaganda, news outlets that are just flush with cash. I want to just swerve for 1 minute into what I told you guys weeks ago I thought was coming. Tell me if I didn't tell you guys this before the media now is reporting it. I said, what you bet that this spring, there are a lot of Americans who say, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not paying any more money to the federal government to send it to Gaza for contraceptives, or to National Public Radio, National Public TV, to fund Reuters, to fund AP, to fund all of this leftist stuff, to give it to countries that hate us, terrorist states that hate us. I'm done. Now, I'm not advising you do that, okay? I think that could be very dangerous for some people to do, or for anyone to do. So I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm going to pay my taxes. In fact, I even overpaid last year, or whatever. Yeah, I guess it was last year. I overpaid. And they had to go and get my money back because we overpaid. Because we're very careful. We dot every I, we cross every T. We're not going to get caught up in that game. And I don't suggest you do either. Pay your taxes. And let's pray and work to change this theft of our money by the federal government. for the redistribution of wealth. It's socialism. But I said human nature is such that many Americans, many who are struggling to put new clothes on their children, food on the table, buy health insurance, their homeowners' insurance has gone up by 40% in the last year or so. Everything's going up on them. And then they see how much money they have to pay to the government. And many are going to say, I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it anymore. You know, this is what comes before you have a revolution in a country. Some would say before you have a civil war. I pray we don't have a civil war. That would be horrific for our country. I'd like to see us have a revolution of liberty and freedom because we have elected officials that believe in liberty and freedom and work to change the laws. But you can see the signs that many Americans are done. You know, I've given you that slogan for years too. When a man has nothing left to lose, he has nothing left to lose. There are many families out there and small business owners, and most of your small businesses are run by families. They can't expand. They can't buy the new equipment. They need to hire more people. They need to just be able to pay the bills of the, as I said, the insurance, the operational cost. And a lot of those small businesses are going to sit down and write a check to the government. Many of them apparently are now deciding they're not going to do it anymore. This is a sign that America is on the verge of something coming. Americans, a percentage of them are very awake. Now, again, I'm not telling you this to encourage you to not pay your taxes. I would tell you, pay your taxes. Let's see if we can get some legislation that does away with the IRS as we know it. In fact, we have a clip. I don't know if you can find it in there, Logan. We have a clip of the Commerce Secretary stating that President Trump's goal is that people that make $150,000 and under don't pay any federal tax. Well, that's great, but what about the other people? But we know this is a trend, and when you see $500 million a year going to outlets like National Public Radio, National Public TV, among other groups, to tell us how we're stupid, we have a psychological problem of white supremacy or male toxic masculinity. They get funded by the government to tell other Americans that people like us should have our civil liberties stripped, our civil rights stripped. And that's just one organization. Well, how do I know this? Which I did predict. There'd be a lot of Americans saying, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm done paying you guys. I told you that was coming. And here is CNBC reporting on it. Here we go.
The IRS.
Well, maybe plug it in, Brandon. There we go. Here we go.
Could see a sharp drop in revenue collected this tax filing season. That's according to a Washington Post report that says senior tax officials are bracing for a shortfall that would be tied to changing taxpayer behavior and attempted IRS cuts by President Trump. The Post cites several sources in an article that says that the Treasury Department is expecting a more than 10% drop in tax receipts by April 15th compared to last year. That would amount to about $500 billion in lost revenue. The article says that the IRS has noticed more online chatter from people who say they won't pay their taxes or will claim deductions for which they are ineligible. Separately, reports over the weekend said that the IRS was closing in on an agreement with other federal officials to help them locate immigrants for deportation. All I can say, I read this report over the weekend, all I can say is if you are thinking about not filing your taxes, good luck with that, because you got 7 years, you got to look out that they can come after you. Tax law could change a lot. Enforcement could change a lot over that period of time. And they're basing this on what they've seen so far with receipts that have been turned into this point. We'll see as we get closer to April 15th.
All right. Well, there you go. So the media's now reporting on what I said was going to happen. And it's not because I'm a genius. I just know that when the government comes out under the Trump administration and tells you about billions and billions and billions of dollars being wasted or funding things that are anti-America, anti-American, or that are going to people and nation states and terrorist states that want us dead, common sense says the American people are going to say, I'm done sacrificing, not buying stuff for my family or expanding my business or struggling to keep my business afloat just to give it to terrorist groups, to anti-American groups. I'm done. Because again, a man that has nothing left to lose has nothing left to lose. And some of these people, that's where they're at. They're like, what are you going to take? What are you going to take? You guys have debased the dollar so much. The purchasing power of the dollar has been so debased. You have driven so many families into debt, punished success and reward, stolen from them with a progressive income tax, that a lot of families are like, what are you going to take? You can have it. I'm upside down. You can have it all, but I'm done. So there seems to be the winds are blowing in America for liberty and freedom. And I hope it happens. And I hope it's real liberty and freedom, not a facade of liberty and freedom. You've got to be careful. Technocracy can sound like they're offering up a solution to all this corruption in the government, the waste. But next thing you know, you find out that their solution is to get everybody a digital ID. And now that can be perverted by someone that says, now you can't buy or sell. So I do understand that if you stop sending Social Security checks to people through the mail and you make them all get bank accounts, which apparently there was an executive order signed on March 25th for that. It makes sense to me. Why should we be mailing out Social Security checks to people we can't verify who they are? And we have billions of dollars going to people that shouldn't be getting government checks. So we get everybody to get a bank account. We digitally verify them. That's common sense. And if it's only going to be used for good, for what is right, I say good. But if that's the platform by which everyone's going to be marked and numbered that can then be turned into a beast system, I'm like, wait a minute. So how do we do this? How do we do this in a way that cuts waste, fraud, but preserves liberty and freedom? These are all very important questions. Now, we come back. I also want to talk about a Jewish man in Florida who is a state senator running for the House. He has zero patience for the kafia, the terrorist rag. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Brandon House. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview. All right, welcome back. Glad you are with us. And sadly, we're hearing that the White House will have to maybe pull the nomination of Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador amid thin GOP majority. I think she's come out and made some very strong statements opposing and, taking on the anti-Semitism. So there you go. That's news. I think Logan found that clip. The Commerce Secretary saying President Trump would like to see people that make 150 or below not even paying federal taxes. But watch this. Listen to this.
Who cares? I tell you what, who cares? Donald Trump cares. And when we balance the budget, you know what that means? That means our deficits stop. Interest rates come smashing down. His goal is to have external revenue. You know, the way I think about it, we all are so used to paying taxes. We're so used to it. We have like Stockholm syndrome. You know, don't stop the Internal Revenue Service, God forbid. How about this? The rest of the world leans on our economy, breathes off our economy. Not only is our economy $29 trillion GDP, but we consume $20 trillion a year. We are the buyer of everybody's stuff. We buy everybody's stuff. So who's more important, the people who sell stuff or the people who buy stuff? So we are the buyer of everybody's commodities, products, goods and services. Everything comes from us, right? Let them pay a membership fee. We all understand that model. Let them pay. How about we, you and I, and every single person we know pay less? How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal.
Wow, no tax for anybody that makes less than $150,000 a year. I think that's a start, but how about no federal tax on anyone? I like that. You want to join the club? You pay a fee. You want to buy from America? You join the club. Let's call it Uncle Sam's Club. I don't even know if Sam's Club's around anymore. But there used to be a group like that called Sam's Club, right? I don't even know if are they still around? I don't even know. I know there's Costco, but I don't know if there's a Sam's Club or not. But let's call it Uncle Sam's Club. And if you want to join Uncle Sam's Club to have the right to buy from America, you're going to have to pay an annual fee just to belong to the club. Show your card at the door. And then on the way out the door, you show the receipt. And on that receipt, there's going to be a fee. Taxes. Taxes. You're going to pay our taxes, foreign countries. I love it. Get rid of the federal income tax altogether. Now, let's go back to NPR. Because this is what you're paying for, what I'm paying for. Listen to this. This is the CEO of National Public Television, National Public Radio, testified yesterday. Ms. Mayer.
Well, I do want to say that NPR acknowledges that we were mistaken in failing to cover the Hunter Biden laptop story more aggressively and sooner. Our current editorial leadership.
Wuhan?
We recognize that we were reporting at the time, but we acknowledge that the new CIA evidence is worthy of coverage and have covered it.
All right, so Wuhan laptop? Well, even Fox News, remember? We were on the air one day. And I had a TV going on in the corner of the studio, and across the bottom, it's conspiracy to say that the COVID came from Wuhan. Remember that? Even Fox News was reporting that. NPR didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, this is her. Listen to her. Listen to her worldview and her definition of truth. And remember, she's getting her company, her organization, $500 million a year from your pocket. Here we go.
But one of the most significant differences, critical for moving from polarization to productivity, is that the Wikipedians who write these articles aren't actually focused on finding the truth.
Okay, wait a minute. She used to be at Wikipedia? And the people that write these articles are not focused on finding the truth. What is their objective then? Here we go.
Actually focused on finding the truth. They're working for something that's a little bit more attainable, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years there, I actually believe that they're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start.
Really, seeking people to understand the truth or embrace the truth is not the right place to start. Well, this lady is so postmodern. What's postmodernism? It's one of the 6 dominant worldviews. There are more than 6, but there are 6 dominant worldviews. Postmodernism is one of them. This lady here is a perfect example of postmodernism. Truth and reality are created by man, not by God, and if every individual is empowered to decide for themselves what is true. Your truth. Thank you for letting me be here today to share my truth. Well, my truth is, have you ever heard someone say that? I have, many times. Well, my truth. Really? Well, there's either the truth, and it's true for everybody, or it's not true at all. Absolute truth. This is postmodernism. So she's not interested in the truth. And to think that this woman could go on to work at NPR. Well, of course, this was probably one of the reasons she got hired. Let's continue. Oh, it's going to spin on me.
They're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction.
Okay, the truth has become a distraction, but she's already contradicted herself. Did you hear the contradiction in there? Listen to what she said.
I think our reverence for the truth.
Our reverence for the truth? Wait a minute. Reverence for the truth. You just said that there is a truth. But yet you also just said trying to get people to embrace the truth shouldn't be our objective. Well, what is her objective? Let's back up and find out.
Best place to start. In fact,
okay, come on.
I think our reverence for the truth might
Boy, it's spinning today.
have become a bit of a
distraction. We got that.
That is preventing us from finding consensus.
Okay, so what she's committed to here is consensus. She's not committed to truth. She's committed to consensus. Now, how do you have consensus? People have to compromise their convictions. They have to compromise the truth. Now, she even admitted that there is the truth, but it's not something we should be really committed to. What we should be committed to is consensus, group consensus, situational ethics, what the culture at large accepts as normal. Pedophilia? Oh yeah, we're going to call it minor attracted adult. All these things. Well, that's what the majority now believe, or a big segment believe. Now, don't forget, this woman went on, I guess she went from being at Wikipedia to NPR. And NPR, have they pushed the whole drag thing? I saw a video yesterday in that congressional hearing where Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I've interviewed several times, had her staff holding up a flat screen television because the system in the room wasn't working. They held up a flat screen TV. 2 staffers were holding a flat screen TV with a microphone to the speaker. Played a video of a man pretending to be a woman in drag queen, encouraging kids to shake their body parts. A little song. Perversion. But you see, where there's consensus, where enough people agree that this is acceptable for children, then you do it, because the issue isn't about the truth. The truth of the fact that that's a man with psychological, spiritual problems pretending to be a woman. But no, that doesn't matter anymore, because it's not about the truth. It's about consensus, postmodernism. National Postmodern Radio. That's a new name for NPR. Take the word public, make it National Postmodern Radio. That's what it is. National Postmodern Television. We got more from her, but President Trump, I think President Trump even tweeted about this himself. Let's see if I find it. This was yesterday. NPR, PBS, two horrible, completely biased platforms, networks, should be defunded by Congress immediately. Republicans don't miss this opportunity to rid our country of this giant scam, both being arms of the radical left Democrat Party. Just say no and make America great again. That was yesterday. How long do you think NPR will last? PBS. Isn't it interesting, all of the government money they get to make their puppets on Sesame Street and everything popular, while they make, I guess, the people that own the copyright of those puppets and images extremely wealthy. How many of you could run a business, have the government fund it, and then copyright and trademark everything and make billions off of it with your movies and puppets and sales and shirts and shoes and lunch boxes? Let's see what else we have. Here we go. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene on this.
The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is using taxpayer dollars to actively suppress the truth, suppress diverse viewpoints, and produce some of the most outlandish, ludicrous content. After listening to what we've heard today, we will be calling for the complete and total defund and dismantling of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Here's how it works in America every single day, private businesses operate on their own without government funding. We believe that you all can hate us on your own dime.
There you go. You all can hate us on your own dime. Yeah, every day. And this audience right now is filled with people that are just like us. They get up every day. They run their organization. They run their family business on their own without any government money. In fact, to one respect, it's opposite. They run their business in spite of them having to fund the government, and the government using your money, my money, to fund National Public Radio. And if this is not dealt with, now that more and more and more Americans are learning just how many billions and trillions of dollars are being wasted, if they don't fix it and fix it fast, Americans are going to, in droves, say, I'm out, I'm done. You wait till we move into hyperinflation if that happens. Buying food, or paying the government to give the money to NPR. Which one do you think they'll do? We're not changing courses. Now, we are who we are. We're committed to the truth that we are committed to. Worldview Tube is a broadcast network that I started in 2006, but it's based on my 35 years as an author and speaker and commentator. Worldview Tube is here to defend the truth of a Christian worldview. And we believe we can apply it to all areas of life, like law, science, economics, history, family, social issues, education, religion, major issues.
At worldviewtube.com, we provide news from around the globe that isn't typically covered by mainstream media. Visit worldviewtube.com to watch our experts and analysts discuss all your favorite topics on our 24/7 live stream.
It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by
unfiltered and uncensored content from 35 years of production. Go to worldviewtube.com today. Also find us on all of these major platforms and download our Worldview Tube mobile app.
All right, welcome back. I want to go to one more clip on NPR, and then I'm going to move to another topic. This is Congressman Gill interviewing the CEO of Public Broadcasting. Here we go. Listen to this. This is yesterday.
It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism.
Oh, he used the word. Awesome. Good for him. Cultural Marxism. Remember, guys, we were here talking about cultural Marxism since November 1997, to the point some of you probably got tired of hearing me talk about it. Now we've talked about it so much, we have penetrated the mainstream of society. Good job, viewers and listeners. You did that.
Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
Yeah, it's evolved as the people hold the purse have changed seats. Funny. I've evolved because I got my hand out and need money from you, and you guys now control the treasury.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and white democracy?
I don't believe that, sir.
You
Don't know where
tweeted
statement
that in
comes from.
reference to a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
You tweeted about it. You said you took a day off to fully read The Case for Reparations. You put that on Twitter in January of 2020.
Apologies, I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I'd no doubt that your tweet there is correct, but I don't recall that.
So wait a minute. Is it possible this woman was not reading these books, but saying she did and tweeting them and promoting them to bolster her progressive resume? Huh. I mean, it gets worse from there. We won't play. We got to get going here. But how about their staff? Listen to this.
You're a rabid progressive. And do you not think it's a problem that your political leanings make it seem to the American people that you're not biased and you're not doing your job? Because you agree that your job is to have journalistic integrity, right?
Absolutely, but there is a strong firewall between the newsroom and anything that I
Let's
do.
talk about the newsroom. You have 87 registered Democrats, not a single Republican in your editor board. So, I mean, how does that work to give us the perception that you're doing your job of actually delivering unbiased information?
Well, I would agree with you that that number is a concern if it is accurate. I do believe that we need to have journalists who represent the full breadth of the American society so that we can report well for all Americans.
Well, I think that you are failing. I realize you've only been there for a year. I just really think that while it is a small portion of your budget, you very much should expect to restructure your revenue streams, because I don't think that NPR is necessarily worth saving. You're a rabid progressive.
Yep, well, there you go. There you go, folks. All right, what else do we got today? Let's move on to this one. This is a Florida state representative. His name is Representative Randy Fine. He's a Jewish gentleman. And, well, he calls them like he sees them. I'm not endorsing everything he stands for. I'm not endorsing him. But I appreciate him having the courage to call it the way it is. Here he is with a Florida channel that is their state legislature. And there's public comments related to a bill. And the bill is related to gender identity employment practices. Now, the people that are coming up to this, let me tell you for radio, is young people or middle-aged people, and they're all wearing the keffiyeh, the terrorist neckerchief, as David Horowitz called it back in that video that went viral years ago. I see you're wearing the terrorist neckerchief. Where the Islamic girl was berating him as a Jewish man and talking about celebrating Hitler. And he said, yeah, I noticed you're wearing that terrorist neckerchief, the keffiyeh. So the first guy shows up. He's wearing a keffiyeh. Here we go.
Robert Lee.
Well, you know what? By the way, let me just stop there for a minute. Gender affirming gender, this is a bill, SB 440, gender identity employment practices. Really? Which I guess means if you hire a dude in a suit with a good resume and the next day shows up in a dress, oops, you're stuck. Do these people that are showing there with the terrorist neckerchief on trans and transgender and gender fluidity, do they know what the terrorist will do to them if they take over? No, they don't know. This is the cannon fodder. The cultural Marxist cannon fodder of simpletons, of useful idiots. That's a historical word. These people have no idea. You're wearing a scarf, a terrorist neckerchief, the keffiyeh, representing people like the PLO, Hamas, the Palestinians, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. They hang homosexuals by cranes. They throw them off the roof of buildings. You stand there with that keffiyeh on like somehow that represents the trans movement. That's how dumb these people are. Here we go.
Robert Lee, you are recognized for 30 seconds.
Now that's the voice of Mr. Fine you just heard.
All right. Here we are again with yet another bill that is really just wasting everyone's time. I don't understand the purpose of this. This bill is hurting my family. It's hurting my children who are non-binary. I really wish that we as a state could focus more on our insurance costs instead of just pointless little bills like this. I also find it frankly offensive that someone who just needed a translator wasn't given any type of facilitation. That was
Good, you're done too.
ridiculous.
Next, 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30
Come on
seconds.
Okay, by the way, the audience is filled with people wearing the keffiyeh. Purple hair, blue hair, keffiyehs, and masks.
Disgusting.
Yep. Well, yeah. Come on up. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
here's another
terror
one
track.
wearing
Come
the
on, let's go.
keffiyeh.
You're next. Come on.
Oh, whoa, what did he say about her keffiyeh? What did he say about her keffiyeh? Got to hear this. He says it.
Disgusting.
Yep. Well, yeah. Come on up. Enjoy your terrorist rag. Come on, let's go.
Oh,
You're next.
enjoy your terrorist rag. There you go. Finally, an elected official in Florida saying it the way it is. Now, let me just transition real quick. One more on him, by the way. Here is a tweet put out by Donald Trump about Mr. Fine. America First patriot Randy Fine is running to represent the great people of Florida's 6th congressional district. Huh. I don't know. I did not know about this guy till today. When I ran across that video that you just heard, and I thought, who is this guy? He just called the keffiyeh a terrorist rag. He's right. Who is he? Wow, he's got guts. Turns out he's Jewish. Apparently, he's running for Congress in Florida's 6th congressional district and has President Trump's complete and total endorsement. There's more videos out there of him about standing up to this scourge. We need people like this to come forward in Texas, in Tennessee, in Michigan. I'm going to deal with it tonight on Brandon House Live. But we have, if you go over to worldviewreport.com, worldviewreport.com. We just got a text this morning. Just got a text. Melissa handles customer support. She read me a text this morning where someone in Richardson, Texas, who is involved with the grassroots, involved politically with not just politically, involved on social issues, moral issues, at the grassroots in Richardson, Texas, said, I stumbled upon Brannon's programs on Yasser Qadi and what he's doing in Plano, Texas. And then the other leaders of Islam coming in there. I want to thank you for providing this kind of research. We're spreading it around to elected officials. I guess down there in Richardson, Texas, I guess you got an Islamic guy running for mayor. Florida has a guy that's calling it the way it is, your terrorist rag, your keffiyeh. Texas, you better step it up. There's an article over at worldviewreport.com today. Alert. This is a brand new article today. Alert. Epic City's Sharia compound can be stopped. Here's the blueprint to shut it down. That's James White's mentor. James White. 2017, we exposed him and Yasser Qadi, who had the mosque 3 miles down the road. James White comes to town with his interfaith dialogue and says, you mentored me in Islam, and we're going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya when the secularists take away our religious liberties. Ah! And Yadi's now gone to Texas to build a 402-acre Sharia compound. But that's not it. That's not the only thing. We have another article. If you go over there to worldviewreport.com, you'll find it. This one's from yesterday. Texas under siege. Tabligh Jamaat, that's a group, known as Al-Qaeda's recruitment network, establishes U.S. headquarters in Garland, Texas. Let's see, wait a minute. Where have we heard about Garland, Texas and Islam? Oh, wait a minute. That's right. That's when the 2 ISIS guys showed up in Garland in full black body armor and tried to kill my friend Robert Spencer and my friend Pamela Geller. Remember that? It's in my documentary from 2018 called Sabotage. 2018. That's Garland, Texas. So do you think they just happened to pick Garland, Texas at a whim? By the way, the FBI knew they were going there to carry out a terrorist attack and did not inform Pamela or Robert or the local police. In fact, one guy with the FBI who was reportedly embedded with them texted to the ISIS terrorist, tear up Texas. Thankfully, they hired their own security and the guy took these guys out. We have the video footage of them in their black outfits, fully armored up, laying on the ground, deceased. That means dead. Well, they're going to get the U.S. headquarters established for this recruitment network in Garland, Texas. Texas, you better find yourself some elected officials like Mr. Fine there in Florida who's saying it like it is. These are, come on up here and have your 30 seconds wearing and enjoying your terrorist rag, your keffiyeh. Folks, if they can take down Texas, if they can take down Tennessee, there is no hope for the rest of the country. 1-800-347-9829, 1-800-347-9829. Phone line's open. Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHousebg.com. All right, 1-800-347-9829. Phone line's open. 1-800-347-9829. Let's go to Mary, line 1. Hi, Mary. Thanks for calling in today, Mary.
Hello?
Hi, Mary.
This is Bernie.
Oh, Mary and Bernie?
No, I'm Bernie. See, he may not have understood me. I have a sore throat.
Okay.
So I may not have come across clear
So
enough for him
it's
to.
Bernie, not okay. Well, I know. I just so you know, I know a Mary and a Bernie, and so there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go right ahead,
Yeah,
Bernie.
I'm Bernie from Wisconsin. I just want to quickly say, Jasmine Crockett did a interview. Her comment when she was asked what are the Democrats doing, her comment was, well, right now we're not doing anything so far as legislating any laws. Their main objective is tearing down Trump and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Tariffs, what most people may not understand, is going to be a good thing because I looked up in 2000, the national debt was $5,674,000,000, and by 2010 it was $13,526. In that time period, we had our manufacturers was leaving the country, our middle class people were declining, because there were no jobs, America wasn't selling anything, and so now at the end of the day, our economy began to rely on more and more and more of government programs. And yes, we need to crack down on Omar, AOC, Crockett, all these people who do not care about America. They all need to be deported or jailed, because if we don't start stepping in and taking care of these terrorists, we won't have anything to step in and take care of.
You got that right. You got that right, Bernie. Always great to hear from you, Bernie. Thank you so much. Boy, the phone lines are lit up here, guys. Let's go to Marty, line 2. Hi, Marty. Thanks for calling in.
Yes. How you doing? I love your show. You know, I get a lot out of it. But I wanted to comment that we here in Wisconsin have a huge Supreme race coming up with Brad Schimmel and Susan Crawford. And I think, you know, the Christian body really needs to open their eyes and really get out there and vote, because just recently they had the cross-dressers held a fundraiser for Susan Crawford. So, you know, they have to realize and understand the importance of this race and getting the right individual in that seat, because it's going to affect all of us here in Wisconsin. And I just think that, you know, people really need to get out there and vote, and just the importance of voting, especially in the Christian community. You know, they need to wake up and they need to get out there.
Let me say I agree. You don't have to go yet, but let me just say I 100% agree. We have covered that race, and we've talked about it quite a bit also on Brandon House Live at night. This is not only going to affect Wisconsin. It is going to affect every American that wants to see the constitutional republic restored, because Wisconsin has become a swing state. And if the Supreme Court in Wisconsin does not do something about the voter fraud in your state and the WEC, Wisconsin Election Commission, and Megan and all these other people, if they don't do something, your state is going to fall into the column of the progressives every time through fraud, and you can kiss the country goodbye, because Wisconsin is now a swing state for the Electoral College. Agree or disagree, Marty?
I agree with you. I cannot disagree with you on that. And, you know, as I said, that's why it is so important that we get out there and do, especially, you know, I'm repeating myself, but it needs to be heard, because the body of Christ needs to wake up. They need to get out there and they need to vote. They need to get out there and do what they're supposed to be doing and getting the right people in office to help us.
And you know what's sad, Marty? You and I shouldn't even have to say that. That should be a given and a knee-jerk reaction of responsibility and application of a Christian worldview, so that we don't even have to say that. I was talking to Sharam Hadian today about something coming up, and I said, well, if they're depending on the churches to turn people out for this and show up to fight this, and I was talking about the Islam taking over Texas, I said, if they're depending on the churches, the battle is over. Because the churches in America, most of them are not churches. They're social clubs. They're social centers.
You're right. Yep, you're right. You know, I do a lot of work in the community, so I'm out knocking on doors at these churches. And I'm stressing the importance of getting out here and doing what we need to do, because that's what God called us to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
You're right, Marty. I got to run just because of press time. But you're right, Marty. I want to go to Jackie, line 3. Hi, Jackie. Go ahead. Jackie's calling in from Texas. Go ahead, Jackie.
Hi, my name is Jackie. I'm from Texas. I live pretty much close to Garland. I just turned on the radio that there's an ISIS headquarters in Garland, Texas.
Well,
they're looking at.
They're looking to build a recruitment network for Tablighi Jamaat. That is known as Al-Qaeda's recruitment network. You go to rarefoundation.com, R-A-I-R, rarefoundation.com. You'll see the article there from yesterday, all on it, Jackie.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. And I know that kind of explains the reason why Governor Abbott is getting ready to pass a bill in the state banning Sharia law.
That's exactly right.
They have something to do with that Epic Center they're building in Plano, which is only about 15 minminutes away from here, 20 minutes away in the next city.
Well, you should be very concerned because Yasser Qadhi's good friends with Khalid, what is his name? The dude that was unindicted co-conspirator in the bombing of the World Trade Center in 93.
Yeah.
Rashad Tlaib or whatever his name is. Yeah, you should be very concerned.
I'm old enough to remember that. Yep.
Jackie.
Well, you know what? I'm from Texas, born and raised. I am a good Texas girl, and we don't fear anybody. And our faith is in God.
Amen. Hang in there. But Jackie, I want to cut you short. I want you to hear this next caller. Listen to this next caller. She's in your backyard. Cynthia from Texas. Thanks for calling in, Cynthia.
Hey, how are you doing, Brandon?
Good. Thank you, Cynthia.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to reiterate what Marty and everyone is saying, and Jackie, in that we do need to stand up and fight this because you know, and you say it all the time, that it starts with our local government. We have a mayor in Richardson who is a good stand-up guy who is up for re-election, and he has a Muslim going against him, and they have been knocking doors, sending out all kinds of information. So we need for everyone to vote, and we need for people who are willing and able to get out and get our message out to counteract that.
Cynthia, it says you're the one that texted my wife this morning, right?
Yes.
Well, will you put my wife in touch with that mayor of Richardson? I want to interview him on my Brandon House Live show, okay?
I absolutely will. I will.
Thank you. All right, folks, look at this. People are waking up. They are waking up. All right, stay tuned for Crosstalk. Take care. And that's our broadcast on those 74 terrestrial stations. We're back with WROS. Actually, I should say 73, I think. 73, 74. And then we add in WROS out of Jacksonville, Florida. Phone lines lit up today on this topic. People they're fed up. And they're starting to realize just how dangerous this is. In fact, let me just play a little video clip here for you, folks. Listen and watch this. Here we go.
Subhanallah, we just made it here at Masjid Yasin. At the parking lot is packed. Obviously, they prayed 20 Tarawih. I'm pretty late though, but still, the masjid is still, everybody's still here. I want to show you something real quick. We got Ali, all the way from New York, that came here to pray. Subhanallah, look at this. We got the Shabab playing.
All right, I want you to understand what's going on here. This is the mosque there in Texas. This guy is going in. He apparently, I guess he's attends there, quote, prays there. He's talking about how people are coming and moving there from all over the country. Texas, they're about to take you down. Let's keep going.
Basketball, man, all the time. Should be praying Tarawih in there. Here's the masjid is right here, subhanallah. We made it to Masjid Yasin. A lot of people have told me that this is the headquarters of the Tablighi Jamaat in North America, where all the big decisions happen, where who has to go where. Subhanallah, this is one of the most organized Islamic organizations.
All right, did you guys just hear him admit that? I want to back that up. We're going to deal and have on former CIA operations officer Claire Lopez tonight. I've interviewed her about this group. This guy just said it himself.
That this is the headquarters of the Tablighi Jamaat in North America, where all the big decisions happen, where who has to go where. SubhanAllah, this is one of the most organized Islamic organizations in the world. Beautiful masjid here. Look at this. Being the headquarters of Tablighi Jamaat in all of North America. It is an absolutely beautiful masjid. On top of that, your children can become alims here. Yes, that's right, a full-time scholar. So they do provide a full-time alamiya course for girls and boys, which is absolutely amazing. It's maktab, after school. There's also a lot of resources for children to become very connected to the deen. So to be part of the alamiya school, you have to go and apply. But the thing is, it's from ages 10 and up. Begins from 7:30 in the morning all the way till 1:45. Your children can also become hufaz here, full-time hifz school, which is not possible in most places. So full-time hifz school right here in Masjid Yasin, and part-time as well. Believe it or not, they also have lower elementary school, which is from the ages of 3 to 8, from the hours of 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more details, you can always check out their website, and you can apply, you can call directly to them. For a lot of people who want to be part of that Tablighi Jamaat environment, this is amazing that you have a city where you have everything available. They do have a huge parking lot. They got basketball and soccer in the parking lot. It's a huge community, tight-knit, and also a lot of people from all over the nation are coming. They recently designated Masjid Yasin as the headquarters of the Tablighi Jamaat, which makes sense because Texas is the center of the Islamic initiatives all over America. So if you want to be a part of this,
there you go. How many times did he brag that this is now the headquarters?
you just made it here.
This is the headquarters for the Tablighi Jamaat, known as Al-Qaeda's recruitment network. Woo, Texas. Now, we're about to find out if some of you Southern boys down there are full of hot air. Because you guys all wave your flags, don't tread on me, and you're spitting tobacco and fishing and hunting, doing all them big things down there. How tough you are. We're about to find out how tough some of you Southern boys down there are. Or is that all fake? Are you just too fat and overweight, watching football, watching other fat men push each other over on painted grass? Some of the dumbest people on the planet. You sit there and watch them by the hour. How do I know they're dumb? Not all of them. I know a few former NFL guys that still got their money. But most of them are dumb as a box of rocks. You can't beat your head against a wall like that over and over and think you're going to end up coming out bright. We also know they're stupid because within 3 years, they don't got their money anymore. That's what it stands for. NFL, not for long. These are stupid people by and large. And yet, other stupid Americans sit on the couch and get fat and lazy and soft, watching other fat men push each other over on painted grass. But they talk big. Don't tread on me. So here's the chance for you boys down in Texas to put up or shut up. And what do you need to do? You need to start reading and learning about Islam. Who these groups are, these networks. Who's Yasser Qadi? Who are these people? You need to start running for office. Your local government. Maybe you'll lose some weight while you're out there walking around knocking on doors instead of feeding your face with Doritos, sitting on the couch watching other fat guys play football. Maybe get up off the chair on the bass boat, walk, knock, door to door, and run. And stand up against to take over your country. Otherwise, we're going to find out a bunch of guys in Texas are full of hot air. Time will soon tell. Take care.